I'm going to assume most of the listeners are familiar with the story of Joshua and Caleb and how, they started out as slaves and in Egypt, and of course God sends Moses back, and the Exodus and the 10 plagues and all of that. And then eventually the 12 spies go check out the land in Numbers 13, and then 10 of the spies won't trust God, and so they wander for 40 years, and then the leadership mantle is given to Joshua, and then they finally go into the land, and the first city they take in battle is Jericho. Now, I'm going into all that for a reason, Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny to me as I wrote the book, I couldn't quite get to Jericho. I could never get to the battle. And really the way the book ends is at Jericho, which, as I originally outlined the book, that was going to be about one-third of the way through.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting because this book developed because what I wound up doing is looking at their past lives and all that they went through and all of the heartbreak and disappointment and setbacks which got them ready to fight those battles, of which Jericho was going to be the first, therefore the title Battle Ready.
So the battle was almost anticlimactic.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What those guys went through before they ever showed up at Jericho, that's how, God works strangely. And that's how he works in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have a desire. Lord, I want to be used. I want you to do something with my life. Yet we have all this difficulty and disappointment and, a setback here and a devastating loss there. And we think, my gosh, what's going on here? Well, this is what happened to Joshua and Caleb. He's getting us ready for the battle.
Yeah. One of the things that struck me as I read your book, Steve, was the fact that we often pray to God, put me in a place where you can use me, enlarge my territory,
Yeah.
Make me influential.
Yeah.
And in reality, maybe God has to work through brokenness in our own life to get us where we need to be.
Yeah, as I certainly read the Scriptures, Wayne, that's what I see. And the people that I have met in my life over the years that have ministered to me and that really have gravitas, really have something to say, and they really have substance. The life of Christ, there's just a respect because these people are walking the walk. Well, inevitably, when you get to know them a little bit and get to know their story, there's brokenness in their lives. Somewhere, at some time, they've been through it.
That's forged who they've become.
Yeah. There's only one way to get there.
All right. You talk about a triple shot of hope in this book. Do you recall that part of it?
No. I don't. I honestly don't remember that.
All right. Well, let me remind you. It's on page something or other. You talk about the triple shot being a certainty of providence.
The certainty I'm preaching on that on Sunday.
Promises and the certainty of the plan. Well, you better know this then.
Well, I just didn't realize I called it a triple shot. Let's see. Well, I put that in there, but I forgot I had. I don't usually refer to it that way, but I was trying to, you try to do these little things to get somebody's attention.
Sure.
So that's the triple shot is, what is it, providence?
Providence, promises, and plan.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. I need to read this book.
I gave you a sermon outline right there.
Yeah, you sure did. Yeah, and I think the reason that's so important is that, as we were discussing a minute ago, right now we're living in, why are people's souls so troubled? Well, because there's great uncertainty. Wherever you look, there's financial uncertainty, there's political uncertainty. You got the North Korea stuff, you've got, Iran. I mean, everywhere we look, there's uncertainty. Am I going to have a job in 30 days?
Yeah, that hits right at home, doesn't it? Layoffs everywhere.
Everybody is getting nailed here. So is there any certainty? Yes, there is. There's the certainty of God's providence. Wayne, I'm convinced providence is the missing doctrine in our generation. It is one of the most reassuring doctrines in all of the Bible, and basically, it's where we get our word. We get our word provision. The old hymn, "Great is Thy faithfulness, O God, my Father.
Mm-hmm.
There is no shadow of turning with Thee. All I have needed, Thy hand hath provided." The providence of God is the provision of God. That which God creates, and He's created us, He perpetually